They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
A law enforcement officer uses his or her official position to help a friend collect a debt from a third person by means of self-help. A driving school examiner takes a bribe from a student, promises to speed up the process of acquiring a driver's license. He talks to the head of the school and asks that the student be exempted from the theory test. Today, we will find out what these people have done, what it is called, and the punishment attached if they are caught. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Murna Barnabas Atiai. Also on the program today, we have ethics and values, drama, and many more. But first, Joy Aja is standing by with stories on anti-corruption.
Hello and welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Joy Aja. A Zamfara State High Court sitting in Gusau has sentenced a serving member of the State House of Assembly, Lawali Atahiru Dogunkade, to 4 years imprisonment over an alleged 31 million naira fraud. Dogunkade, who was arraigned by ICPC on a 4-count charge bordering on conferring corrupt advantage on himself, admitted guilt before Justice Bello Shinkafi, thereby leading to his immediate conviction by the court. The convict, representing Kaura Namoda local government in the Zamfara State House of Assembly, was accused of using his position to confer corrupt advantage upon himself in a 31.3 million naira contract meant for the supply of medical equipment to the state government. Counsel to ICPC, Mashku Salisu, in one of the counts, told the court that the convict received 4.5 million naira from the managing director of Madachi Pharmacy, Mr. Hamisu Saminu Jibril, as percentage for the supply of medical equipment contract awarded by the state government. His counsel, Mr. Abubakar Junaidu, pleaded with the court to be lenient with his client, considering the fact that he was a first-time offender with a large family and dependents who solely rely on him for their livelihood. Following his guilty plea, counsel to the commission invited the court to convict him in line with the provisions of Section 274 subsection 2 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. The court thereupon convicted the accused person as charged and sentenced him to 4 years imprisonment. ICPC has declared 2 men wanted for alleged 5.6 million naira Federal Fire Service job scam. The main suspect, Mr. Olude Adeniyi Latif, who is a staff of the Federal Fire Service, in connivance with one Mr. Dada Olatunji, an Assistant Controller General in the service, who was dismissed in 2015, fraudulently obtained from 15 persons the sum of 5.6 million naira with the promise of getting them jobs with the service. Latif had earlier made useful statements to officers of the commission and was granted bail, but he has so far jumped bail, while his accomplice Olatunji has since been on the run. which necessitated their being declared wanted. The matter will be charged to court once all pending actions are concluded. Religious leaders in Nigeria have been tasked to preach the message of integrity because of the important role they play in shaping the character and attitude of their followers. This was the message delivered to religious leaders from Luxterra Leadership Foundation by the acting chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, during an education excursion by the foundation to the commission's headquarters recently. Dr. Abubakar, who was represented by Assistant Commissioner Education Department, Mrs. Azuka Ogugwa, stated that as leaders in both Christian and Muslim faith, which are the main religions in Nigeria, they must first lead by example and then use their positions of authority to preach integrity messages that can help free Nigeria from the present dilemma of corruption and immorality. The acting chairman urged them to implement the suggestions and ideas that have always been made available to them anytime they visited ICPC in the past. He concluded by reiterating the need for them to play their role effectively in the fight against corruption. Earlier, the manager training Luxterra Leadership Foundation, Mr. Henry Ijoma, had said that their visit to ICPC was part of the activities lined up in their intensive training and that it was also aimed at identifying with the work of the commission. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Myrna. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Fuck that! Yeah, relax. That is my brother and I want him out of this station now.
We are proceeding.
Okay. Can I just see the IPO of this case? IPO, how are you?
No, welcome, sir.
That is my brother and I want him out of this station now.
Do you know the offense he has committed, sir?
What do you guys want for your weekend? Okay, let me see your DPO.
This way, sir.
Oh, better. You don't know who is here. That boy is my brother. And I want you to assist me to free him.
The man found in the gun, confessed to robbery.
Things like this happen. 200,000 naira for you.
Are you bribing me?
500,000 naira.
Robbery suspect?
1 million naira.
That is corruption. Not allowed in this division.
1 million.
Remember, police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
Corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. According to Collins Dictionary, influence peddling is the use of power or influence on someone else's behalf. The situations mentioned earlier are examples of influence peddling. It is the illegal practice of using one's influence in government or relationships with persons in authority to obtain favors or preferential treatment for another, usually for payment or for a fee. It is also called traffic of influence or trading in influence. Influence trading is a form of bribery where the beneficiary is not necessarily an official. What matters most is the social or professional position. Even if the beneficiary cannot make the decision, he or she can use his or her position to influence the decision maker. In fact, influence peddling bears the stench of corruption and should be discouraged. But how much do Nigerians know about influence peddling? Let us find out.
I think you can also answer that question yourself. You know quite all right that influence peddling is it's a very big problem in Nigeria. First, you can't get anything done as it is today in Nigeria without somebody talking to somebody on your behalf, and which is a very, very dangerous situation we have found ourselves in. We want a situation whereby people can walk into a place to apply for a job without anybody assisting them and getting interviewed and being given the job as it is. But today, people, you advertise for a job, if you don't know anybody within that establishment, you don't have any chance of getting employed. And it is a very, very dangerous situation we are facing in this country. And most of the problem is because we do not respect and regard the laws we have put in place. You see people who run governments disobeying regulations which they have put in place. Some of the people who run affairs of government don't even know the existence of some of the laws that control and guide them in this country. So we are in, it's a vicious cycle, and something must be done. Well, it can only be cured if we adopt the principles of meritocracy, that is, getting people who are qualified to run affairs of government to be in government. That people who got into government through bribery, who got into government simply because they have money to buy their way through, so long as those people are in the corridors of power, we cannot correct the situation. But if we decide to engage people to run the affairs of this country based on merit, based on professionalism, then these things, the problem will be solved.
Influence peddling is basically altering the normal process or event of an activity. When we talk about influence peddling, we look at what is a normal process. A normal process is, for example, if you want to access maybe a property, and then there is a process aligned to it, but instead of going through that process, you decide to say, okay, I know somebody in mortgage or somebody in another place that will link me to somebody to get it. And that is an aspect of corruption to the core. Things can be done normally. It is very possible to get things normally done, because if there is a process or procedure for something, and if we are willing to go through the process. Many years ago, when people want to go for youth service, for example, they will start thinking, okay, who do I know? Oh, don't go to the south. They will tell the children, don't go to so place. No, you can still go there and you can mix up, and then you can get the best out of it. So we don't need to peddle. We don't need influence peddling to get anywhere. Things can be done normally. You can apply for a job and get a job. You can apply for anything and get it. It's a Nigerian. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a problem in Nigeria to an extent. The reason being that some of the people that are having the authority, because for you to have the influence, you must have authority. Because with authority, definitely you must have influence on your people, especially in the local area. So the problem is that when somebody is not doing the right thing and having an office and not doing the right thing, definitely your influence will never be on a negative side on those people that are following you or those people that look up to you as their role model. So it is a problem because people up to now don't know where they are heading to and how to use themselves as tools to bring change in the society. I think it is a problem as far as somebody doesn't know what he wants to achieve, the aims of the objective of being a role model and a good one for that matter. Yes, that's why I say it's a problem in the influence peddling is a serious problem.
Influence peddling, just like bribery and others, is corruption, and it is one of the major causes of poverty, poor distribution, and misallocation of wealth. It also impedes economic development and contributes to the political and social destabilization of countries. What is the position of the ICPC law on influence peddling? Mr. Enosa Emogibo of our legal department tells us more.
Well, in the course of this program, it's possible influence peddling may have been defined. But my opinion is that it is best to describe situations that will come under influence peddling than to give a straitjacket definition. And that's what I would say now. Now, in most cases, it's often heard in this country that people are soliciting for employment. They're soliciting someone's assistance to be employed into a government office. Somebody would pose usually as, oh, I know the DG or I know the chief executive. If you give me so and so amount of money, I'll be able to talk with the chief executive, and then you would be employed. It's been happening. Now, another area where we've observed it happen is in the area of contracts, award of contracts. There have been cases where somebody would say, I am a brother to the chief executive, or I belong to the tenders board. I can use my influence to talk to one or two persons so that the processes will be scrutinized to favor your company. So in these ways, we can say these persons have engaged in what could be described as influence peddling. The law prohibits influence peddling, and it could come under various sections of the law depending on what is involved and what is at stake. For example, if it is someone trying to use his influence to get somebody employed into the government service when he or she may not be rightly qualified or thereabout, that could come under section 10 of the Act. And that section 10 criminalizes anyone collecting money from someone trying to use his influence or position to secure an advantage that he may not ordinarily be qualified for to that person. Upon prosecution, successful prosecution, the person could be jailed for 7 years. And the commission has recorded some convictions along this line under section 10 of the ICPC Act. Another section could be the section that deals with contract, award of contract. That's in section 22, sub 1 and 2 of the Act. If somebody uses his influence to procure a contract, of course, when that is done, it means that some of the processes would have been sidetracked. So when that happens, the person could be prosecuted under section 22(1)(2) of the ICPC Act. It means that the person is using his position to procure, his influence to procure the contract or other services on the part of government. So the law criminalizes it. If anyone is caught in that act, it will come under the heavy arms of the ICPC Act.
Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about vote buying, vote selling, vote trading. But the truth is that there's nothing like that. What there is bribery, inducement. The person giving you money for your vote is bribing you to vote for himself or herself or her party. You taking money to vote in a certain way is guilty of taking bribes. Do not receive any bribe, do not take any bribe, and do not give any bribe. It's a criminal offense to take, the criminal offense to give. Vote wisely.
Corruption not in my country.
This CV is for Eugenia here. She's here for the vacancy. See to the CV and she got the job.
Could you please wait for me at the reception? But sir.
Yes?
She studied physical and health education.
Yes?
We already shortlisted 3 qualified candidates for the job. They all studied accounting. With all due respect, sir, we need qualified people in the accounts department. People who are good with figures.
How do you know that she does not understand what figures are?
But why do we need a square peg in a round hole?
What is important here is to fill in the vacancy anyhow.
I will take.
I can't be a part of this. That is a language of corruption. And corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
From the foregoing, it is obvious that influence peddling is prohibited under the ICPC law and is therefore an offense that is punishable. Let us determine to make Nigeria better by not engaging in influence peddling. That's our package on this week's edition. Remember, you can make enquiries and suggestions via our toll-free numbers as shown on the screen. You can also watch the program on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. Thank you for watching and bye for now.